Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Licensed to Roam, where I'll be providing content on football tactics and analysis on European football and the beautiful game from across the globe. You can follow me on Twitter/X at Edward Stratman. And if you enjoy the video, would really appreciate a like, subscribe, and any comments as I get started and hope to grow the channel. Right, for this analysis, I'll be focusing on Atletico Madrid attacker Memphis Depay, who's been in excellent form of late on his way to bagging 4 goals and 1 assist in his last 200-odd minutes of action. To shine the spotlight on his fine showing in Atleti's recent game with Valencia, where he scored a goal and laid on an assist, this evidenced what a weapon the former Man United, Barcelona, Lyon and PSV star still is, where he was superb alongside the masterful Antoine Griezmann. Finding his groove once more to defeat a Valencia side who had won 4 straight in La Liga coming into this match, his contribution was immense, just like it's been in their recent games against Real Madrid and Sevilla as well, in a match where he showed how good he can be when fully fit and healthy. Deployed as a striker alongside Griezmann, who was in his trademark role where he's granted plenty of freedom by Diego Simeone to wreak havoc, the Dutchman led the line with aplomb as he dovetailed especially well with Griezmann and Molina to constantly ask questions of the Valencia backline. So as we start with the graphics here, is obviously the way they lined up as sort of a base shape there. Depay and Griezmann up top, and Depay sort of edged towards more right half space areas a lot of the time, where he was quite handy, engaging defenders and also making room for not only Griezmann but also Molina. There's just another basic graphic of the way they lined up for the most part. Atletico Madrid with the 3-2-4-1. Obviously, this is where he did a lot of havoc, not necessarily by touching the ball, but by pinning and attracting markers just to make room for Griezmann there. It was really clever. This was a constant theme of the match where Griezmann had just ducked into those spaces. Depay had pinned both of the central defenders, and also Molina, which we'll touch on later. He was very good at pinning his man wide too, which all sort of catered for Griezmann so well to get into those dangerous pockets of space where he could then turn and wreak havoc like he does. Here's another situation there. Depay's threatening that run in behind. The defenders don't want to leave him, because if they leave him, there's that gap ready to go for him just to surge in behind. So where they're placed in these doubt, in two minds, in confusion, so they just stay put, play it safe, which is sort of the lesser of two evils in their minds, which allows Griezmann to receive totally free between the lines, which he did so well with his masterful movement. Another situation there where Depay's got those 2 markers occupied, Molina's occupying the fullback, and then Griezmann just ducks into that space. Another situation there where he's just so excellently dropped deep to receive to feet, which has collapsed those 2 markers towards him again, making that room for Griezmann to run in behind and to generate some real threat in the final third. Another situation here where he's pinning the markers again, but this time it's making room for Griezmann to run in behind as he's just peeled that little bit wider. Molina's attracted the opposition fullback. Griezmann's got that space there in the half space, and he can make a nice little run there as the defenders are sort of preoccupied with Depay. Another situation here where Depay was very handy dovetailing with Griezmann, who's just gone beyond him there. Depay's done the opposite movement, drop short, and that's facilitated the third man combination. Molina can then receive with momentum at full speed and then charge ahead into the final third and fire across in, where he has options such as Lino and obviously Depay and Griezmann, who will spin and surge into the box. Another situation here where Depay's just masterfully pinning markers. He's essentially got the fullback and the nearby centre-back to him, which is Gabriel, which has just allowed that space in behind. Molina can get on his bike, hit the blind side of that marker, and just oceans of space in behind. A lot of it's down to Depay's slick work and just how he occupied defenders. Another situation here where he drops off, he sees the passing lanes open. He just takes a couple of steps laterally. The defender's not sure whether to go with him. He just picks up space nicely between the lines there. Griezmann's man's not going to come to him because he's occupied. So it's just really another intelligent, clever little bit of play, which shows his high football IQ and just reading of the game. Another situation here where he's dropped deep, forming a 4v3, come off the front line. They didn't want to follow him. So he's just there to start the sort of semi-transitional attack where he can spin, having scanned, and he's good to go again there to just surge at the back line. Another situation here where he's noticed Barrios attracting some markers, same as Lino. And there's a space in behind for him to attack off the shoulder of Mosquera there. So really smart. Gets the jump on his defender there and just attacks the space in behind. It's just such a cleverly angled run, well timed, and just once again showing that he can threaten either side of the defence, both in between the lines and into depth. Another situation here where he smartly timed a run in behind just to attack the space, Defenders are all over the shop there. And even though he doesn't quite, score, but it's just another way he smartly exploited gaps and was so alert and attentive to any weaknesses in the back line. Another situation here where he's peeled off and found that separation between two markers, ready to get on the end of that cross. He just misses this chance. Just sort of summed up that he didn't need much space to be a huge threat. All he took was one lapse or one bit of smart movement, and he could really create nightmares for the back line. And here's an example, just a testament to a lot of stuff we've already said. Couple of nice little steps, finds the gap in the back line, nods home his goal. Really great diving header where he was aware. Alert to the ball's drop zone, really great instincts and pounce. Superb diving header, very acrobatic. And that was a really perfect reward and capped off a really solid showing for him in just a game where Valencia really struggled to come to grips with him. Here's just another example of a really smartly angled run into the box on the angle. And then instead of lashing a shot, he had the presence of mind to cut it back to Griezmann, who very nearly scored. So just another thing in this game that just stacked up just towards what a great showing it was. Usually can be a player associated with being quite selfish, but very unselfish, doing what he has to for the team. And this was just another good example of that. Another way he impacted proceedings was with his hold-up play, aerial play, and just being a great target man and reference point for his team. Just to sort of be so strong, balanced, holds off mark as well with that low center of gravity. So in this case, he just wins the knock-on header, helps his team win the second ball, and that's a huge plus for them. They can immediately attack again. Another situation there where they've gone long, couldn't beat the press. So he posed as a great option to then win the ball in a nice area for them to get it on the carpet and continue their attack in a great area. This was another nice bit of hold-up play where he got the ball back to goal, had the strength to usher off his man and then spun in behind, played a beautiful little through ball just to accentuate what a threat he was, not just in terms of his movement, but with his strength, physicality, and technical skills. So it was just a really nice little masterclass, this. And this was sort of the piece de resistance, which would have really capped off the game where he almost scored one of the goals of the season, where he does this brilliant little flick over the top of his head and Mosquera's head. Then he latches onto it and volleys an absolutely venomous shot that just dipped onto the roof of the net there. So almost was an absolute screamer, which would have been a perfect way to end his night. Then you obviously look at the average position map. It shows that he was leading the line, and it shows that he had that close proximity to Griezmann there, who just came a little bit shorter, essentially playing as a 10, like he so often does with that freedom to roam. Another situation there just shows how well he linked up the combination, especially with Molina, but also Griezmann as well, and Lino a little bit, but it was mainly sort of Griezmann and Molina who he dovetailed with so well. There's a heat map showing that he ventured into quite a lot of different areas, but mainly in that central area between the lines, and just the central striking area between the width of the box was where he was most dangerous and did his best work. So that's the end of the graphics there. And it's just another really nice reminder of just what a massive force to be reckoned with Depay is. And he's going to be a really key man like he has been recently. And his importance is set to be heightened, especially as Atletico have such a heavy schedule in La Liga, the Copa, and in the Champions League, with matches coming thick and fast for them, thus meaning he'll surely get many chances to illustrate just what a game changer and an integral member of Simeone's squad he is, both when starting games or coming off the bench. Right, that's the end of the analysis. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Would really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. Have a great day. Stay tuned for the next analysis.